So one of the biggest questions we get asked all the time by so many people is, it has to do along with the issue of people try to train their legs, but they're never able to get activation or any feeling in the back of the legs. It's always the quads, maybe the calves if they're lucky, maybe the hamstrings if somebody's a little more advanced, but very few people actually feel anything in the back of their butt and their glutes, right? And you believe it or not, it's a very common problem for a lot of people, and it's actually a lot more of a problem now since the past 2 years where, the lockdowns came around and, we can't talk about the C word, but, being locked down, everybody's in these shitty positions all day where we have tight hip flexors or upper back muscles are rolled forward, and it's just very hard for people to have the proper body positions to do the leg exercise and feel them in the right spot, right? So I was fucking around one day, I was talking with one of our coaches. They made a bet to see if I could do it without getting hurt. I played Johnny one up and we came up with this exercise that actually is pretty good. So what we did is we have the curved treadmills here, right? Where it's like a big hamster wheel and they have magnetic resistance. So if I adjust this dial up and down, it's like pushing a sled versus right here, it's like running on a treadmill, right? Now, typically, if you go on these treadmills, they're pretty cool, right? You get them for like anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000. So if I'm having it with all the way down, it's a self-propelled treadmill, right? I can run on it. Or if I put the resistance all the way up, now it turns into like you're pushing a sled, right? Because now you have resistance. Now, while this is a great exercise, one of the problems people have is this kind of exercise right here, they're gonna feel all in their quads, right? So, how do we fix that? We put a rubber band, we anchor it down to something that is not gonna break or release or snap or hit you from behind, right? And make sure it's a secured anchor point. And what we did, and we depended on people's body, body weight and, how long of a distance you have to go to anchor it behind you, but what happens now is that if you notice, the band's not gonna slingshot me off the treadmill. You don't want that happening. But what happens is now, I'm able to hold myself on this forward lean. I'm stepping out with my foot as far in front of me as I can, and I'm getting these big pulling steps, not pushing, pulling from the back of my glutes and my hamstrings as I'm going. Now the band's holding me up, so I can squeeze my shoulder blades. I can corner around my hips, I can coil around my hips, right? Now, and you'd be surprised how hard this gets. 45 seconds to 90 seconds on here, you're done. I can hold on if I want, and what I do is every couple reps, I change hands so I get used to using my shoulder blades to keep me upright as I go, right? And the whole idea, especially for those of you guys watching this video who live in the area that we are, if you ever walk the hills up in North Cornwall, they're very high and they're very steep. This is gonna put you at a similar angle to walking up on a high incline on a hill. So now, when you go to step, you gotta pull with the back of your legs. So a lot of my clients who come in who are dealing with like sciatica, lower back issues, herniated disc, stuff like that, one of their main leg exercises we put them on, especially the days where they're having problems with their back and their hips, we put them on the treadmill because it's a very low impact, high resistance exercise, working one leg at a time, and it almost always allows them to train their back and their legs without activating their back and their hip issues. So, all we did, the little bands, you can buy them on Amazon for like, you get a 4-pack for 10 or 15 bucks. We find something secure we can anchor it to, get your right distance down, and now you will have a cardiovascular exercise that when we do this in our classes, we do our programming, like I said, we'll do anywhere from like 45 seconds to maybe 2 minutes on here, because this is actually surprisingly tough, and here's the best part about it, right? It's a couple things. One, it's very low impact. I got shitty bones in my feet. It's from all the years of like rollerblading and sports and shit that I did. So I can't run for long distance because the bones in my feet start to like, refracture themselves. So it's very low impact on the knees, very low impact on the hips, the lower back, all that stuff. It's very high intensity because you have the resistance of the belt, but it's at a very slow pace. Where on a treadmill, a lot of you guys have been here, you'll agree with me on this, you don't feel comfortable running faster because you just might not have the coordination yet to successfully go at that pace without tripping and falling. It's a big fall hazard there, right? And on top of that, when you're doing the treadmill, a lot of times you're sitting in your hip flexors. The rubber band's gonna keep it so you're sitting in your shoulder blades, the lower part of your traps, all the stabilizer muscles. So you're activating the right muscles you wanna get, and you're staying out of the ones that are gonna cause you pain and injury. So We just call them uphill walking on the treadmill. It's a phenomenal exercise. If you guys have questions about this exercise, or if you're trying to figure out how to like rig it up at your own facility or home or gym or wherever, you know, like always, leave us a comment in the comment section, reach out to us through DM, text message, email. We try to get back to all you guys as best as we can, but you know, if you send us like a little video of how you're trying to rig it up, maybe we can give you some suggestions of what we would do if we were in your situation. And I would definitely give it a shot because it's a phenomenal exercise, especially if you have a hard time working to the back, getting the back of your legs to work for you, right? Guys, thanks for stopping by. See you in the next one.